I loved what I was doing. My degrees are in exercise science, exercise physiology, nutrition, all of the things. So, it is something that's very close to my heart. And obviously I loved what I did. But like you said, I went through a hard period of not understanding how to prioritize myself and balance my work and life, business, how to make that mesh really well to be able to be the best self that I could be in my business. And I started to see that, I started to really fall apart. I started to realize I was tired and fatigued, and I didn't even know this was burnout at the time. I just saw myself pulling away from something that I put my heart and soul into building and creating this amazing business that I was helping so many people, but something wasn't working, something wasn't aligning. And, so during that time, I sold that business in 2019 after a hard fall of burnout. My body, my head, my mental state, everything was just a mess. And I knew there was something wrong and I had to step away. And during that time, I went to a women's conference and I just realized the power in helping other women and what other women weren't seeing and trying to push their way through things, and how they were forcing themselves to work these long days and do all these different things to gain success. And I had success from the outside in my first business, but from the inside, I didn't. And I wanted to show them that they could find this way of balancing, being their priority, their number one thing, and running their business and not letting their businesses run them, which is like the number one thing we hear, is that people are run by their businesses. Like, if you're in it all the time and you're not prioritizing yourself, then it is running you and you're not running your business. So it was really, really important for me to share what I had gone through and be able to help others with, especially my fitness background and having so much understanding of habits and daily routines and what was moving me forward and moving the needle forward for me in the right way. And I wanted to help other women do the same. So that is what I
do. Yeah. Connecting into what a message, like for me in business, how the message is conveyed is so personal. Like, especially even getting yourself, we do social media, like getting yourself to go live, getting yourself to like get over the fear of feeling judged and things, is like a daily practice. I think you get better. Like, I've gotten so much better the last year, but maybe you can speak life into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just like anything, to get good at something, to get over those uncomfortable humps, you have to practice it and you have to go live. And you know what? This is something I work on with my clients a lot. And of course, it always leads back to mindset and the confidence and the not feeling good enough or not looking like the other people on social media. And I always tell them, people aren't there for the perfection. They're there to see that relatable person. They're there to say, wow, this person is doing it, I can do it too. They don't want to see that perfect statue that they feel like is unattainable and they can't do. It is very surprising. And so once I do that and I tell people, like, just get on and do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be this, you stumble over your words, my dog barks, he probably might do it now. Like, it happens. That's life, and your kids talk, whatever, that's life. That's what people want to see. They want to relate to you. So yeah, I'm definitely someone that tells everyone to just go out there, do it messy. And this was not me before, you guys. I was super logical, like everything in my head. And I loved what Laura talked about, because I'm going to dive into this a little bit when we go into the questions you have for me, but definitely about leading more with my heart and just going for it and understanding that if I'm not getting out there and telling my story, then I'm only doing a disservice to the people that need to hear it. And so when I tell people that and just go out there, do it messy, they do it. And, it's so powerful. They come back and be like, oh my God, I posted it. I did it. Oh my gosh, and it's just like this happy moment. And then I see them like on all the time. I have this girl that came to one of my summits and she had never posted an IG story. And I made her do it during the summit. I can't get that girl off of IG stories now. Like, she's on every day. She loves it. She loves feeling it. It's so powerful for her. And I just, again, she just gets on while she's walking or doing it. And I just love it. I love seeing that because it brings such a power and confidence that, it just takes practice though. It just takes getting out there. It takes doing it messy sometimes, and then you'll get better and you'll perfect it. And so what? I still stumble over my words or go on tangents, it happens, but you get better with it and you feel more powerful in yourself and your confidence. So it really helps when I'm doing this with my clients as well.
Yeah. And I want to connect the dots for people. So I curated this in the sense that the morning is, okay, like, what are those soul questions that I'm either stuck inside of, or where can I explore how to be more authentic and in integrity with myself? Because in my business process, I've had more like expansion and success when I was super clear in that sense. And it got me over the humps that you're mentioning, right? Like online business is a rodeo.
It
and
is.
and you'll talk yourself out of not promoting yourself. You'll talk yourself out of not making the offer. And it's a you versus you is how I typically frame it. Conversation you're having, and when your mindfulness is strong and you've built that foundation and you're fueling the right way, then your dreams are closer and you're embodying, similar to like what Scarlett said.
Yeah.
And so, my question to you, Camille, is like, how can we harness more power in our daily actions, knowing that like our business success or whatever is on that other side of it?
Yeah, and we will talk about what I call a CEO, and obviously it is a CEO, but I call it connected, energized, and organized. And it's not just about being this like powerful business owner. It's about what you harness from yourself, being connected with other people, becoming energized, working on yourself, movement, all of the things you guys talked about this morning. And I think one of the biggest things that I even saw that you guys talked about this morning is, again, like being able to understand and kind of lead with that head, find that intuitive feeling of, what am I not doing for myself by not getting on that story, like I said, or what am I not doing for the people that maybe need to hear my story and not being vulnerable or not doing these things. And I get that they're very uncomfortable, especially in an online business. You are in front of a lot of people. I'm in front of audiences of 12,000 people daily on my Instagram alone, and on Clubhouse in front of 3.3 thousand followers that I have there. I have a lot of people that are constantly watching me. And if I worried every moment that I wasn't doing something perfect and I just stuck in my head at all times, I would never be able to put out and share my story with people that really needed to hear it. So sometimes when we think about what's next in our business, maybe sometimes we have to think about who else can we help? What are we doing by not doing the things that we should be doing, by sharing our story, by getting vulnerable, getting on that story live or whatever it is, or getting in that interview, and we'll talk about, having a community that will kind of help you balance that, and kind of, I call it even accountability partners. You need that in fitness. You need that in life. You need that in business. You need those people that are going to help you with that. But you sometimes don't see that in yourself. And so sometimes you need people to tell you that. But if you're not getting out there, if you're not moving the needle in your business that way and pushing yourself past those uncomfortable points, you're going to stay stagnant. Whether that's a comfortable stagnant, it's just like going to a regular job, then, especially if you decided to open your own business, then you might as well go back if you're not going to move the needle and do those uncomfortable moments. And even if you work in a regular job, it's moving up, if that's something you want to do, and not asking for that promotion, or not going and stepping into the office and making that statement and saying, I'm uncomfortable with this situation, I want to move this way, or I want to do these things, you're just holding yourself back. And I really want you to just, if something doesn't feel right, go take that next step, go make movements, go change. Don't stop sitting in your head and say, well, I don't want to make that change because things are working perfectly this way. Take that step, take that heart feeling and make that movement.
Yeah.
So,
and it's so courageous. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned, having business consistently growing, and me having like a healthy ambition mixed with people that like, I'm like, oh, I could see them as a mentor, right? I think Clubhouse is really good, like for that too. And it's like, oh, you see like all the freaking possibilities of what you could create with your platform, or, if you are just, like it's just you and your coaching, your personal brand, whatever. So expand on CEO.
Right. So I say connected, and I say this in a way of, again, my first business, I walked away with pretty much like no real friends. I had people, acquaintances, but I was in the hustle. I was in the grind. I was in, in the industry too, in the fitness industry. It can be very about the aesthetics, what it looks like, what you're driving, what you're doing, how you're building. So especially in person, it can be like that. And I was in a very male dominated part of that. And so, as a personal trainer and hiring personal trainers. And so I didn't have any friends. I didn't. So that was one of my main things, was helping women. I built my tribe pretty fast, my community, my squad, whatever you want to call it, really fast getting into my second business. I was like, I need people. Like there has to be people that understand what I'm going through. There has to be people that, and I call these even accountability partners. Like, You don't have to go to the gym with some every day, but if you have someone that you check in with every week to see if you guys are moving forward, or you have people like this that are surrounding you and teaching you things and all that stuff, like-minded individuals, you're going to grow. So that's what I call about the connected aspect. I really help people kind of find their squad, find those people that are really going to help them move the needle in their business, or help them just get out of this mindset. I really, really bring people together that if I have someone that's really like just dealing with limiting beliefs and has these issues, I'm going to bring in that spiritual coach or that life coach or that transformational coach or mindset coach to help them. And they might be someone that's on the same level, but what they can bring to each other is going to be totally different expertise. And it really helps you grow in a different way. So that's the connected part. You need that. Also, being connected is also building your team, and also maybe hiring a coach or doing those things and expanding in different ways and having that surrounding you as well. And obviously the energize side, part of it. You are a priority in your business. You are the business. So if you are a business owner, or you're thinking about it, or even like I said, if you work at a normal job, you should still be the priority. Your health should not be put on the back burner. Your daily habits shouldn't, your morning routine, just because you have to get up early, then figure it out how to get that morning routine. I know you guys talked about morning routines. I'm a huge advocate for that, because if I didn't have my morning routine, if I picked up my phone the moment I woke up, I would be running back down to my burnout situation that I did before. I have to have those things that I implement. I put myself first. I'm a priority. My business only runs if I'm in a good space. So if I'm not in a good space, if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not working and moving and eating well and doing all those things, I'm not going to be energized. So I'm not going to be a good CEO. And the last part is organized. And obviously I say organized in so many different aspects. And when I talk about habits, I believe in like time blocking. I believe in, even if you have to remind yourself, I have my Alexa, my Alexa will tell me at a certain time, like, get up, Camille, go move, go do these, like you like it, whatever you have to do. Everyone has different ways of setting a routine. But again, it's about putting yourself as a priority and organizing your day to make sure that you don't miss out on yourself. I understand people have kids and they have full-time jobs and they have all these different things. And again, especially I deal with a lot of females. Females are nurturers. We put everyone else first. We think it's selfish to prioritize ourselves. We think it's bad. But again, we're only the best mother. We're only the best wife. We're only the best, partner in life. We're only the best business owner if we prioritize ourselves, if we're taking care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we only become less energized, less connected, less in the space that we need to, and less present in our daily life if we don't take care of those things. So it's really, really important. And like I said, I like to call it CEO because yes, I am a CEO of my business, but I feel like there's so many aspects of it. And to be a happy CEO, a really happy, successful, if you want to call it successful CEO, you need to have that health, wealth, and happiness, right? You can't have one piece of it. I had the success, but from the outside, it looked good. But from the inside, I was falling apart. So to have it truly all, I feel like you're all encompassing. So that's what I mean by organizing. Make sure that you put those times in for you to take a bubble bath or for whatever your happy place is. Everyone is different. I never try to tell people what they should do. I give ideas, I give things that I do, but everyone's different. Some people like to watch trashy TV for an hour. Go watch trashy TV for an hour. If that's your thing and that makes you get into a happy place, then sure, go watch trashy TV for an hour. That's okay. Like, that's your thing. That's your happy place. So that is what I mean by organizing, is just putting those times in for you, because you will only be a better mother, wife, spouse, whatever it is, and it will only make you just happier in daily life.
Yeah. And I think when you are so responsible to having to connect authentically, if you're not like good with yourself, or you're like, oh, like I use this analogy a lot with clients, is like, oh, I'm operating at like 45%. Or like when we were taking people through COVID, like I had nurses and I was like, your stress bucket's going to be 50% stressed out. Just the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and so as we can put in these things in place to regulate your mood, and what those go-to practices are. And I want to like context too, that to me, that's a different lane than like the healing lane. Like your soul's gonna go through stuff, right? I can only imagine saying goodbye to your fitness business when it was successful, but you weren't fulfilled. Yeah. Right? Like that's a learning curve. Oh. And having your own business is still that learning curve. But the self-discipline and how you create self-discipline, whether it's around a health habit, whether it's around something in your business, what I hear you saying is that it's easier when it's organized,
Yeah.
because you're going to face yourself, right? When you're time blocking, which I was obsessed with for a little bit, and I've loosened it up, getting better.
Yeah.
Like, I get obsessive about things, and I'm like, okay, relax. You know, you see yourself, and you have that conversation about like, it's 10:15, like why? Like, why am I being in resistance right now? And I think, you know, I've been so much more consistent with my business when I've been like, I see you resistance and I don't, you know, I'm not available for it.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I say when it comes to being organized, you have to find your own happy method, right? But it's about implementing that because, you know, and like you said, I used time blocking like I was on time blocking and I was obsessed with it. And then, you know, as time has come, I've loosened it up, but I've already implemented those habits. I've known, like, you know, I start working and I'm in the mode, and then I'll be like, oh, whoa, I've been going for 4 hours nonstop. I need to go. Like, I need to, you know, I need to go walk my dog, or I need to go just go outside, or go sit for, you know, 15 minutes somewhere and just, you know, whatever it is. It's just about your mind. You'll start, obviously, it's just like any habits. If you put them in and you start implementing. So I always suggest time blocking because it just starts getting that practice, and then you can pull back. You know, I like to do some journaling, but I don't do it every day. Like, I don't force myself if I'm not feeling it, if I'm not there in the morning to do the journaling. It's okay. I'm not feeling it anymore. I don't have to force myself, but it's the practice that I automatically think about doing because I've already implemented it, because I made myself do it. And sometimes we need that structure because, you know, we're beings, we're always distracted. We have so many things going on, and we want to be able to do all, and so we get distracted. So if we kind of start implementing, whether it's 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day of something that's going to pull you away. I loved what Laura talked about, you know, about it's so funny because I literally have them written on like little Post-its back there. I write my Post-its and I like put them on my pictures, and many of them were what she was talking about on those cards, because, you know, we have to give ourselves grace as well. We can't force these situations. But if we're making movements in the right direction and we're feeling better about ourselves, then we're doing the right thing. And it's good to start implementing them, but don't get also like upset. I feel like this is the same thing with working out. You know, clients would want to go 5 times a week. They'd be like, I want to go every day. And I'd be like, let's start with 3, you know, like, let's start with 3. You haven't gone for 2 years, and that's okay. We're all start somewhere, right? And we're all moving in our own journey. But at the same time, you can't, like, I don't want them to not hit 5 days and get backtracked and feel hurt and like, I'm not doing it. And we have to give ourselves grace, and people are not good at that with themselves. We are our worst critics, obviously. And I think that it's so important to like, just slowly start adding these things. And as things start going better, you can add more and more, and you can add these different things and maybe try different things. I, you know, a couple of years ago started doing yoga, and now I can't not live a week without yoga, but it was something that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like it, you know, and I did it here and there once or twice a month. And then now it's like weekly, twice a week, 3 times a week, you know? So it's one of those things that, you know, you go and try it out and see what it is. And if it's a good implementation, if it's taking care of yourself, it's separating yourself from all that's going on, then it's a good thing. And it's something that's going to really help you.
I love that. And I want to drive home that implementing it in that very beginning is the structure that then you can like loosen up with. Like,
Yeah.
I think that you really have to give it a good formatting. In the coaching that I do, we do that version of it in 5 categories, which seems like a lot. And you really are prioritizing your self-care like on the daily. And so many of them step in and are like, I hit 2 out of 6. I hit 3 out of 4, you know, like, this is too much. Or they want to like, they like yell at me and like, they want to shred it. Like, but it's like that moment is the power. Like, that moment facing yourself, kind of like what Dr. Jason said, like, you won't hit that hiccup the same way again.
Right.
And so, you know, that's the evolution that connects into like who you're really being for this. You know, so I love that you coach mostly messaging and tribe creation. Am I right? Like, how do we talk about this free call that you're giving? Because I think it's so unique. It's definitely something I don't do. So I think that that's like, if there's people in the room, like, you could totally benefit from this.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I say messaging, I feel that even if you're not a business or we all have a hard time of understanding maybe what we're meaning to put out there in the world, right? You know, we're again, we have so many things going on. And so I dive into your life, what's going on, why aren't you putting yourself first, what is happening in, you know, are you not having people around you too to help you kind of push yourself through this? And I would be part of your squad, right? Like we have this call and I would be part of your squad. I'd be your support system. I'd be that person to kind of dive into what is it that you, and obviously I do work with business owners, so a lot of times they're lost in their own message. Like they don't know what they want everyone out there to know about them. They don't want to define themselves as one thing, and I understand that we're all multifaceted human beings and we don't want to define ourselves as one thing, but sometimes we get lost in not even knowing how to tell someone who we are and what we do, you know. And that is a really hard thing to deal with, because that is self-awareness, that is knowing and having this strong purpose in life. And I really am big on like purpose. Like I really want to be able to help. And obviously it's going to change as you grow and all that stuff, but really diving into that and understanding that and bringing yourself forward and making yourself a priority to understand what your purpose is, what you want to do, what's your next steps to just making yourself happy. And so that is the messaging aspect of it. And again, I work a lot with business owners. So it's a lot with them just not even knowing, again, to show up online, because they don't even know what they're showing up for. Sometimes they don't even understand what their worth is and what they have to offer the world. So I bring that out of them. And then obviously the connection aspect is really helping them find these people that can be part of their support system and be part of this grouping that will, if they are having an issue, it's like, oh, I can reach out to Sarah and ask her about that because she's been through this. I can reach out to Camille. She's been through burnout. She, you know, I think I'm going through those symptoms. I think I'm going through that. Let me ask her. So, you know, like that is something where I really try to help you find that. And I do have a big community that you know, with women in 13 plus countries that, you know, I've just brought together some people that just never even thought they would, you know, my biz best friend is in Australia and my biz partner. So, you know, you never know where someone across the world could be that could be helping you, support you in what you're doing. So yeah, that's kind of like the all encompassing of what the call would go into, and just helping you find that like that happy spot, you know, of what do I need to be doing to make myself a little bit happier each day and a little bit in a better place each day, and putting myself first.
Yay. Drop the mic, Carl. Thank you so much for coming into this series.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.